Welcome back to Facetime. My name's John Ryan, and I have a guest today. Her name is Oona Roche. Fuck, I didn't ask her how to pronounce her last name, but it's Oona Roche. Roche, one of those. And she is an actress she plays Jennifer Aniston's daughter in a show called Morning Show. It's fucking crazy because it's also, not her first gig, but it's a big gig for the beginning of a career, I think. And she fucking killed it. She got I can't solve. What the fuck am I saying? I can't spoil anything. But if you haven't seen The Morning Show, she has some amazing scenes, and all of her scenes are pretty much with Jennifer Aniston, which is awesome. There is one scene some scenes that she gets to yell at Jennifer Aniston, and Jennifer Aniston yell at her. What a crazy! That's insane. Just to be like, okay, I'm gonna start acting, and then you start, you're early into your acting career, and then you're yelling now at an A-list actress. It's crazy, and it's cool. So I messaged her on Instagram. I was just like, hey, you want to be on the show? You were great in Morning Show. She said yeah, and then I looked a little bit more into it. She's in a movie with Jude Law that's coming out in fucking September. She says, hopefully, if the theaters are open. Jude Law's like a amazing actor, charming dude. Kind of one of those guys. When I was younger, I was like, I hope I grow up to be like that charming. That would be sick. Didn't work, but I thought I was going to for a while. He marks a prediction in my past that didn't fulfill itself, which is fine because I'm myself and no one else can be me and I'm unique, is what I have to tell myself, and that's okay. Is also what I have to tell myself. I love myself because you have to. Anyway, this is my call with Oona.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good to talk to you.
Yeah, you too. Thank you for having me on your show.
Of course. Thanks for coming. What are you up to?
I actually have some homies in my backyard right now.
What?
Yeah, they're eating pizza. But I'm just hanging out on the floor in my living room.
It's cool that you're able to have, first off, that you have a backyard in New York.
I know, it's very special. It's very special.
And that you have people over, and then you're also doing this while you have friends over?
Yeah, it's cool. Yeah, I have my small social distancing network that my pod. I've heard people call it a pod.
People call it a pod?
So I have my pod in the back.
Oh, shit.
I heard some people call it. I don't really call it a pod, but
I gotta get a pod.
Pod.
I have different pods that consist of one or two people, literally.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah,
right.
I have probably a fifth of my pod in the backyard. Couple friends.
I'm jealous. That's cool. You have you had a full schedule during quarantine, because it's been
Well,
pretty.
I mean, as an actor, I think there's sort of always, the responsibility to make your own schedule in some respect.
Mm-hmm.
I've been trying to occupy my time creatively. I've been trying to do a lot of reading. I've been trying to keep, I think exercising is super important. So just making my own schedule.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's hard to feel totally busy and, I don't know, my schedule is not always filled, and that's sometimes stressful, but
yeah, isn't it weird having the lack of a schedule is stressful?
I know that is really weird. Yeah.
It's odd.
But that's kind of just, it comes with the territory of being an actor, is learning how to fill your own time. and remain creative and remain feeling like you have a purpose.
I forget
Um,
where I heard this. It may have been in an acting class, but they said that being an actor, the work is auditioning and the vacation is booking a job. Because
Interesting.
that's the fun part when you're
Yeah, it is the
doing it.
fun. It is the fun part. It's also, I mean, like I graduated from Purchase, from SUNY Purchase.
Hmm.
Shout out Purchase Mafia, a couple years ago, and I feel like the past couple jobs I've booked, I'm always the new kid on the block. So I'm like,
Hmm.
always like hyper aware and trying to soak in as much information as I can
Right.
and be as um, you know, sorry, we have a homie coming in. That's
It's all good. Crash the
uh,
pod.
yeah, the pod. um, I
Oh,
forget
I
what I was
just realized
saying.
that's your pod. This is my pod.
Oh, nice pod.
Thanks. I made my pod.
You live like kind of in the same neighborhood, right?
I've got to live pretty close to you. I live in Williamsburg, but like I live by Grand in Manhattan.
Okay, cool. Yeah. You've also been going to those vigils at McCarran,
Mm-hmm. That was where I'm
right?
pretty sure I saw you. Do you
Yeah,
ride a bike there?
I did. I rode a blue bike there a couple times.
I mean, I just saw this, and I think I just got
Yeah,
done
I know.
talking to you.
I know the mask. The mask is an interesting phenomenon now. I feel
Mm-hmm.
like people are so much more willing and like excited to like give each other eyes now. Like people are. I don't know if I should curse. Should I? I can't. I
You
don't
can
know.
curse. Yeah.
People are eye fucking each other so much more with the masks because it's just like a little bit of protection. You know what I mean? And I
Okay.
feel like Williamsburg feels like Los Angeles in that respect right now. I don't know. I
Yeah.
feel like my experience in LA, everyone's always like give like super sultry, but
Well, here it
it
feels
feels
a
like
little.
we've turned into that with the masks.
In LA, they're just trying to figure out if you're famous.
Right, right.
I mean,
Oh
maybe
my
they want to like
god, I
fuck people
know.
too, but they're also like, is that person important? Do I, you know what I mean?
It's a very weird little world out there.
I know.
I've only been out there working. So I
Hmm.
have no like actual experience living there, or I only know a few people. I only have a couple friends out there, so
Hmm.
I've never spent genuine time there.
Yeah, I always say this is like so poetic, but I always say you don't know what it's like to live somewhere unless you've fallen in love there.
Oh wow,
It's weird to say it out loud, but
wow.
yeah,
No, that's really making me think. Yeah, that's cool. I'll
it's
keep
just
that in mind.
something I've written before that I think is like a cool indicator of like, okay, I've been here long enough. I've felt the gamut of emotions. Like there's so much more that you're open to. Obviously, you are open to love. It just, when you fall in love, there's a lot of things that come with that. And I think that's the experience of living somewhere new I mean, because you could go somewhere and live there for a year and like hate the people there. So, you,
Right. I
you
heard someone told me you have to do 3 months in a place
I
to
heard that
really get.
too.
Yeah. Um.
I guess, would you move to LA? Would you move to LA
I I
permanently?
would I would permanently. No, but I do want to move to LA because I want to be working and I want the opportunity to work on sets out there.
Hmm.
I have a recurring role on the morning show, so that's like
Hmm.
it doesn't require me to like be out there all the time. I fly back and forth to New York. So I would like to spend a substantial amount of time in Los Angeles.
Hmm.
I really would, but the opportunity just hasn't presented itself yet, and I think it will come when the time is right.
So you're from Brooklyn, born and raised?
Yep, I grew up in Brooklyn. My mom's from Brooklyn. Um, Her mom moved to Brooklyn when she was 7 years old, so she's from Ireland.
Huh.
So yeah, I'm a Brooklyn girl.
Yeah. Okay. Where in Brooklyn?
I grew up in Park Slope.
Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
I grew up in Southern California, and
Okay, wait.
it's a town called Corona, actually.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I know, I know. I have Hinge, the dating profile. or rotating thing, and it says my hometown is Corona, and that's like every message I get is
That's
like
like
Corona.
E line
I
is
know.
like, yeah,
Mhm.
wow, from Corona.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm responsible for bringing it here. So
When did you move to New York?
I moved out
Ugh.
here like 6 months ago. Like,
Oh, wow, that's really recent.
I know. I moved
Did
out
you come from
here.
Ona?
No, no, no. I lived in LA for like 10
Okay.
years.
Okay. Right
Or
on.
so
Did you
I
get rid of your car or did you bring it with you?
I don't I got my mom has my car.
Okay.
So, I yeah. I
I think
had
that's one of the scariest parts of going to LA for me is the car thing. Like having to buy a car, own a car, your car breaks down, that is hella expensive.
Mhm. Yeah.
That is
Yeah.
really unattractive to a New Yorker.
Yeah, I mean, no one really necessarily worries about your car breaking down unless you're getting like a beater. Uh, if you get like a decent car, like it's hard to get you know, um, a lot of cars work these days, you know?
Yeah, I guess so. But I was just talking to my girlfriend today. She lives up in by Oakland, and
Hmm.
she was like, I just got my car. What is it called? Not
Towed.
appraised. No, no, like it's not appraised. It's appraised is for house. Is it
Finance?
appraised? No, I don't know. They checked her car out and told her how much they thought it was gonna be,
Oh,
and it
diagnostics.
yeah, it was $1,800.
All right. Yeah, I mean, I don't
So
know, man. I guess maybe I was a little bit spoiled. I mean, I got my own cars all the time, but I I guess I just like got decent enough cars. But yeah, I guess you're right. You do get slapped with a big bill sometimes if you don't take care of your car or if it's too old. But yeah, you're right. That's a thing. I mean,
I do have
you
a though.
what do you
Let's
have?
just I have a license.
Okay, well that's good. It is weird to meet somebody who doesn't have a license.
I don't know if I should be a. I'm not the worst driver ever, but I mean, I don't know if I should be allowed to have a license. I think the test is a little bit too easy to pass. The last time I drove was last summer, and I got a $368 speeding ticket.
Oh boy.
So I've been off the driving since then.
Yeah, I mean you're right. I guess there is way more risk with having a car, but it is very therapeutic to drive.
That's true. That's true. It is.
And you
It's very
can sing really loud and
yeah
yell at nothing if you want to yell at nothing. Out here
yeah.
people just yell at each other, which is
Mhm.
charming in
Exactly.
itself.
I can yell at people on my bike. It's kind of like the same thing.
Yeah. That's true. I just got a bike and it changes New York. New York is a
Oh yeah.
completely different city now.
Yeah, you need a bike out here, man. Especially in Corona time. Like, it's so good to get out and feel the breeze. And have you biked out to Rockaway yet?
No, but I've been thinking about it. That's a big
It's
one.
a long bike, but it's flat. It's pretty flat. So it's a good bike.
Is it?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think you should do it. You can also take your bike on the ferry back
Oh.
if you
Oh,
want to do
that's
the
right.
whole bike back. Yeah. I don't know how they're gonna deal with the ferries this summer though. I feel like
Well, they
they'll
shut down one.
have capacity.
I know they shut down some of them. I got an email. I went jet skiing recently in Jersey. Well, you get out, you take off
In
from Jersey.
Hudson?
Yeah. Why? Why that face?
I mean, don't you think? I mean, how'd you feel? How was
Wait, what
it?
do you mean? I feel about
I
what?
feel like there's hella dead bodies in the river, and there's a lot of pollution
Well, it
and
wasn't like
just
I was,
oil and
it wasn't like I was like weaving around dead bodies or anything like that. So I didn't, I don't know that, but I did. They did give us an opportunity to, behind the Statue of Liberty. They were like, so you can take a swim in the water if you want to right now, and like, and I mean, I had been told about this stuff, but I grew up around dirty beaches. There are dirty beaches, and ocean is dirty. It just is. I was there for the visual of it, for the fact
yeah.
that I was in the
Do
water
it?
behind the
You
Statue of
jumped in
Liberty.
the water?
Yeah, I jumped in the water.
Yeah, you jumped in the water. I'm being a hater, but I also jumped in the East River when I was like 15. and I'll never forget it.
Hmm.
But it was. I don't think anyone should be doing that.
Do
I
you think
can't
that
believe.
you've showered it off by now?
Maybe. I hope.
So you're from here, and then you now wait. How did it go? I'm just curious about like the process and getting booked as playing. What's her last name? Lizzie Levy.
Yeah. Um. So I was actually in England, and we were shooting The Nest,
Mm.
um, which is written and directed by Sean Durkin.
Right.
The trailer just came out. Um, it's supposed to be in theaters in September. My fingers are crossed that
Mm-hmm.
theaters will be open.
Yeah.
But so yeah, I was in England and we were shooting, and I got a self tape request
Mm-hmm.
for the morning show,
Is it?
and
Did they already know that you were gonna be in the nest?
they, I don't know, maybe my agent mentioned it to them,
Mm-hmm.
to casting, but um, I actually one of the casting directors on the morning show is a really wonderful woman, Kathleen Chopin, and her associate John Ort. They actually knew me from I was like 18 and I was still in school, and I was working with somebody who sent me on an audition for this show called Bull on CBS.
Mm-hmm.
And I worked with her on that audition, and she brought me close to the finish line with that. But it didn't work out, whatever, for the best. Stayed in school, got my BFA in acting from Purchase, which was like really the best thing that could have happened to me as an artist. But she remembered me, which is, I guess, just how it happens.
Yeah.
And she was casting the New York side of the morning show, so she asked my agents for me to make a tape because I was in England. So I made a tape, and then a couple weeks later they wanted me to do another tape with some notes, so I did that, and then I did a Skype with Jen.
Wait,
To
so
see,
you do the audition, and then when do they tell you, when do you get the news? By the way, every one of your scenes is with Jennifer Aniston.
yes, yeah, that's pretty much my function in the script, is like I'm the it's a workplace drama, I'm the family,
Oh no,
you
I
know.
mean like when did they tell you that?
Oh, well, I mean, um, they didn't tell me that per se, but I think it was sort of implied in that I'm playing her daughter, and obviously it's a very star-studded
Mm-hmm.
project. Really heavy hitters, which has been amazing to work with them, work alongside
Yeah, I want to
of
get
them.
to that for sure.
Yeah,
That's like
they're. It's been a really positive experience working on the morning show, but um, they didn't say that explicitly, but I guess I sort of inherently knew it because um, I understood that it was a workplace drama and that I was the family. And I got the
right.
first two episodes once I knew that once I was offered the
Mm.
role,
Oh, okay.
and sort of like understood my role.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I think, Alex Levy's character, um, she's a hard ass,
Mm-hmm.
in the workplace. She's a hard ass. She's got her guard up. I think like a couple of times they refer to her as the Ice Queen. Um,
Yeah.
but then with Lizzie, of course it's that mother-daughter relationship thing, and
Mm-hmm.
we get into some of the more vulnerable aspects of her life.
Mm-hmm.
So I think my, it's always important as an actor to question what purpose the role serves in the
Exactly.
story.
Yes. Yeah.
So humanizing Alex Levy and making her a three-dimensional being, not just somebody who runs a morning news network and
Yeah.
is the spearhead of a corporation,
Mm-hmm.
but rather, someone who's also three-dimensionally a mother, a wife,
Yeah.
going through all of the life stuff.
Kind of like like failing at both a little.
Yeah, failing at both a little. I mean, like, something's got to be compromised if
Yeah.
you're on that level.
Yeah. Yeah, I liked the dynamic a lot. It did remind me of like my family, where I was like I felt like your character a little bit, where it was like that this other person is doing what they can to be this, like you were saying, hard ass or successful, but you know that it's sacrificing a little bit of time with you, or we'll say like proper parenting, whatever that the child felt, was missing. Um,
Yeah.
and that's like it's a complicated balance to find as a
Yeah.
parent or a child, because now, when you become an adult, we'll say, you kind of you don't know, like, do you resent them? Do you understand
Back
now?
then,
Or do you respect them more? Yeah, because there's one of two ways you can go when you have a successful parent. You can follow in their footsteps, or you can just kind of like fade off and be like completely different thing.
hmm
Um, and it can be a big source of tension if you become the different thing.
Yeah. I don't know if you have Criterion Collection,
I
but
do, but I'm not that. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, we're all, there's so much material on there that
Yeah.
we should all be working our way through. But I watched this short film. I'm blanking on the writer director's name. It was actually two women who directed it, but it was about this woman who documented. She's a documentary filmmaker who documented she had a child and then she went back to work as a filmmaker.
Hmm.
And there was this one bit where she um, recorded some kind of like luncheon with, maybe her mother was in the luncheon, or was just this group of women who were educators, who were school teachers. My mother's a school teacher.
Mm.
She worked in the public education system in New York for like 30 years with developmentally disabled kids of
Mm.
all ages. So this one scene, this one woman was talking about, we talk about liberation as a woman, and liberation is is hindered by guilt. And if you can hold down a job and feel like you're doing the best thing for your kids, that is true liberation. And I just thought that was kind of a wonderful quote.
Hmm.
And I'm not even totally sure how it's applicable for Alex Levy, because I think that it's not always clear
Hmm.
when you're doing the best thing for your kid. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's
Like,
no one to be like, oh, there you go, you're doing a good job.
right, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Except Mark Duplass's character, who really always had her back.
Hmm.
That's one of the most interesting relationships in the show for me.
It's a cool
Um,
one. Yeah.
I really loved their work together. But yeah, that just that idea of the working mother,
Yeah.
and how you can show up for your kid and also show up for yourself in your career.
What's it like to yell at Jennifer Aniston?
Oh, it's pretty crazy, man. But you know what? I will say that it's less crazy than being yelled at by Jennifer
Did
Aniston.
she? I guess she did kind of yell at you, huh?
Yeah, she's a powerhouse, man. She's a powerhouse completely. I was totally floored, especially in that dorm room scene. Obviously, that was one of the most juicy bits I had in the
Mm.
show. Really, really wonderful to work with her on that scene. She is the real deal. She really served it to me. She really did.
Do you like? I mean, she seems so obviously like the nicest person ever,
Yeah.
and you were cast so well because you do look like you could be her daughter.
Wow. Thank you. I thank you. I
Have
mean, yeah.
have you got
Very
that?
much a compliment.
You had to have got that by now.
um. Yeah. Sure. I think I definitely look like somewhere in the spectrum of between Jennifer Aniston and Jack Davenport, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Are you getting recognized around Brooklyn or what?
A couple times here and there. I actually work at. Well, I don't work right now, but
Mm-hmm.
I work at.
Mm-hmm.
Or I worked up until Corona hit.
Should I not put
Uh,
that in this? I,
no. I mean, like, it's just part of a journey as an actor. I think, like, unless you're kind of like born into it with star parents, I think that everybody has to like pay their dues in some
well,
respect.
I guess I mean so people just don't go over there and say and like look for you.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. I doubt they will, is the thing. They probably won't. But a couple times, like, while I was, working events, like, handing out hors d'oeuvres, people were like, "Where do I recognize you?" And I remember one time the chef, we had like a couple when Apple launched, we did a couple premieres for some of their stuff, and the chef was like, "How's it gonna feel when you're out there serving hors d'oeuvres to the cast of the morning show?"
I mean, it seems like from people that I talk to that end up getting successful, they all have that moment when they're doing, some sort of day job and they get recognized or they hear their song on the radio in their job or,
Right.
some odd moment like that. That's the two worlds then meeting, which means
Yeah.
the other one's right there,
Oh, I love to hear you say that, but it's definitely humbling,
Mm-hmm.
And I've met some of the most wonderful people in my life in my service industry jobs, and it's just, at the end of the day, it's just humbling because, I think Muhammad Ali said this thing where he was like, I can't remember the exact quote, but he was talking about having lunch with some, highfalutin person, and he was observing the way that he was treating the waiter, and in in dichotomy to the way that he was treating Muhammad Ali,
Mm-hmm,
and
mm-hmm.
like,
Oh yeah.
if I was in the waiter's position, you'd be treating me that way.
Uh.
So it's like, I'm paying my dues, but I'm also learning a lot, and I'm learning that, like, at the end of the day, everybody's the same.
Do you feel a little bit like, okay, because Jennifer Aniston follows you on Instagram, I see.
Yes, she does.
So, well, because there's a few people that I really admire that I guess are like of some sort of fame that follow me, and I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
I kind of wish they didn't because now I'm like have to be careful with what I post. Not like I'm posting crazy shit, but like
Yeah.
sometimes I just don't want to care. It's the internet type of thing. But now I'm like, well,
Sure,
what if they
sure.
see this?
I hear you, man. Instagram is a whole beast, and it's honestly, like, if I'm being totally transparent, a huge source of anxiety in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And I think for a lot of people my age, it's similar. And in total transparency, my Instagram, and I'm aware that other people's Instagram feeds are different than my Instagrams.
Yeah, yeah.
But my Instagram feed right now is like completely devoted to the movement happening.
I see you.
The civil rights movement happening right
Yeah.
now. And personally, Oona is more comfortable with that form of Instagram than the like self-advertisement form of Instagram. And I couldn't even really tell you why. I guess like because it's still uncomfortable, but like I think it's more comfortable because it maybe even just gives us the illusion that we're working towards some kind of equality, towards some kind of social justice, where the self-advertisement and the self-promotion, it just doesn't come naturally to me. It's not what I came here for, but it is like a muscle that I need to get better at.
Are your reps like, hey, you got to do this?
No, my reps are not down, on my back about it at all.
That's good.
I have really amazing reps. They're really good people. And they know that like a career is a long-term thing.
Yeah.
And that even Instagram might not have as long as a life as my career will. You know what I mean?
Oh, totally. Yeah.
So they're aware that like social media fads are a thing.
Mm-hmm.
But
Instagram might not go away for a long time.
No, it's not going to go away for a long time, and it's an amazing tool that actors didn't have 10 years ago.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
So from a capitalist standpoint, yes, we live in a capitalist society. Like, you can use it as an incredible marketing tool. But that mindset is just not that sort of molded, like, I don't know. And that's the thing. Like, it doesn't have to be molded. It doesn't have to be perfected. It's just, they want to see you, they want to see your essence, they want to see who you are. But like, I think that I'm generally actually a pretty private person, and like, I'd rather
Yeah.
hang out with you in the backyard or even FaceTime with you
Hmm.
and talk to you person to person than like, take a selfie and put some Frank Ocean lyric under it and call it cool. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
I had an experience like that I learned. I had a couple experiences like this that I learned uh, pretty quickly that there's a lot of really cool artists out there that just are like that. I met Daft Punk at at
Oh,
at like
wow.
at a bar, but they were like super low key. Obviously, they have the helmets, so they no one knows who they are when the helmets are off. I was a big fan. This is like back in 2010 or something. I knew who
Yeah.
they were, so I was like, oh, what are they doing here? There were like 10 people at this like bar, and so I was outside. I was having a cigarette, and they were smoking, and I was like, "Hey man, do you think I could take a photo with you or something?" Like I didn't want to bother them too much, you know. And
Sure.
he was like, "No, I don't do photos, but I'll hang out with you. Do you want to talk about
Right.
something?"
Yeah.
And I was like,
Yeah.
I was just in shock. I didn't know what to say, so I was just like, "Oh no, it's cool, man. It's all right." And then I just, but I had so many questions. Like they made a movie called Electrama that I had just watched, and I really wanted to ask them about that. But anyway, a lot of artists are like that, you know.
You're a filmmaker, right?
Yeah.
Are you also an actor?
No, I've taken acting classes. I know I mentioned that earlier, but I've taken them just to see
Yeah.
it from that side of it because
Yeah.
I really like being able to communicate with whoever my counterpart is, you know.
Yeah. Okay.
But
Right on. Yeah, I think it's a really, really important thing for directors to take, like, at least some sort of directing the actor class because,
yes,
whoo, I've had experiences all over the spectrum with directors.
yeah.
But yeah.
Are they? Did you get to hang out with the cat? Because your scenes, if now that if I'm remembering right, you don't have your scenes are pretty much only with Jennifer Aniston, right? Like, you know, Mark Duplass or
Yeah.
Steve
There's
Carell,
one,
like those are
uh,
different.
yeah. I've worked with Steve peripherally. We haven't had any scenes together, but we've
Mm,
been on set at the same time. He's
mm.
also an amazing person, really kind gentleman. Um, there was one like the awards scene at the beginning of the season where I was at a table with you know
Oh, yeah,
really
yeah.
screwed up Mark Duplass and Reese Witherspoon and all of these different characters. So that was kind of my opportunity where we were stuck, sitting around for hours together while
Hmm.
lighting, sound, and everybody does their thing. Um, where I got to like know some of the heavy hitters in the cast.
You know, Steve Carell's one of those guys that just seems like a good man.
Yeah, he holds the door for everybody down to
Yeah,
the last person.
yeah.
Yeah, he
Just
is a good man.
a good man. It's like I know because like so many bad things. I mean, the whole show is like rooted in the beginning of the whole thing is like because of somebody gets me too'd, and then it starts, which is Steve Carell's character, and it was interesting watching that, thinking like he plays it very well, but I kept thinking of him as a person, and thinking
Yeah,
he just seems like a good man, you know.
yeah, he is. He's a good man. He's very soft spoken and
Mm-hmm.
gentle. Um,
Uh,
yeah,
what about
yeah, character.
my uh there was a time when everyone was just like so stoked about uh Jude Law and how
Mm,
attractive he was and
mm,
how charming he was. And
yeah.
not that he's not now, but I remember being young and being like, I think that was the first time I was like, that's a hot guy, you know, being able
Oh, I
to,
will tell you right now, he's just as attractive and charming as he ever was.
yeah.
He lights up the room. He really does.
Mm-hmm.
I remember there was this one really big group scene, and I was just observing that day. I just came to set just to watch Jude and Carrie and some of the other actors work. But he had to sort of like, I don't know, improvise with a bunch of extras in a party scene, and his energy is so infectious, and he really like brought to life the whole room.
Yeah.
And I was just observing, thinking, "Damn, I'm lucky to be sitting here." But what an amazing characteristic to just be able to draw people in
Yeah, I know.
and light people up. But he really was. Everything was more fun when he was around, for sure.
When you got that gig, were you like, well, I should go watch like all of his movies?
Yeah,
And then you did it?
totally. I mean, yeah, I don't know if I watched all of them, but I did watch a good deal.
So you know that line that I told you, you don't know what it's like to live somewhere else until you've fallen in love there?
Yeah, is that from one of his films? Did he
No.
say I have known that?
No, no. Yes, this is a test. Jude Law, come here. Got her. No, I came up with that idea thinking, because I think it was 2004, I think, when the movie came out, but I came up with that idea watching Alfie, the movie that
Uh-huh.
he's in, the remake, in 2004, about him living in New York and dating around. And I was like, that is something, I was 17. I hadn't even been on a date probably. And I remember thinking that seems so cool to like be in New
Yeah.
York and go on like date some people. Like that just was like such a thing that, obviously it's much less fulfilling, and it goes to show in the movie.
Is it a movie?
Exactly, yeah. But what was interesting about how it unfolded was that he learned about himself and he learned about like falling in love and bringing down his like womanizer side. And I was like,
Yeah.
that is a journey I want to go through. Like I hadn't even started anything, and I remember thinking New York would be a great backdrop for that. I mean, I'm past that phase of my life, but still that was like where I thought about it. Man, he gets his heart broken at the end. I was like, that's when I'm gonna know.
Yeah,
But
no hint, no Tinder,
no,
no
just
nothing.
just go, hey, what's up? That's
Yeah.
are you into like the bar scene in Brooklyn a bit?
Yeah, sure, but like, I'm also kind of I probably couldn't name very many cool bars around here, but like I definitely like to sit and have a beer in an old. I'm kind of like a dive bar-y,
Mm,
like on the spectrum of cool bars. I probably veer more towards the
the
sitting down,
mm-hmm.
drinking a beer, jukebox, dark room.
I feel like
Um,
if it wasn't, I mean, I guess it's one of my favorite bars so far is Rockarola right now.
okay, sure, yeah,
I love
sure,
that place. I think that it gets really too crowded, but if it just was like, if it had like 3 p.m. vibes until like nighttime, that would be like the best place ever.
yeah. I'm also kind of a grandma. Like I could definitely. Yeah, I also like, sitting on the couch and watching movies a lot, you
Mm.
know.
Do you get a lot of
Um,
that in there this whole quarantine time?
yeah, definitely. And I hate being hungover, so
Yeah.
like I can't accomplish all the things I want to do when I'm hungover, so like a lot of times I'm just like, I'll watch a movie instead,
I know. I
whatever.
The worst thing to do. I went to a protest hungover, and I was like, "Wow, this
Ooh.
it's not
I
that
hope you had
fun."
some water with you. Damn.
Well, I had water and all that stuff, but I also, I mean, thank God, most of the protests are at like 1 or 2 o'clock, so at least I have some time to like sleep it off or whatever I'm doing.
That's like definitely a time I'm waking up if I'm hungover is like 2 o'clock, and then I'm going in for the nap at 4 o'clock.
So there's also not a lot of like hanging out outside happening for me personally, unless it's like I walk my dog or I go to a protest or I'm at least like by a protest.
What
But
kind of dog do you have?
it's a beagle pit bull.
Oh,
You can see her on my
awesome.
Instagram if you want to check her out.
Cool.
She's awesome. Her name is Penny,
Cool.
and I brought her here from LA. It was a whole process, and but yeah, but you were talking about this is where it gets a little bit conflicted. Is like when I'm at a protest and like you're saying like everyone's wearing masks, but then like people are like eye fucking each other, and I'm like. I've been inside for 3 months. Like, hello, everybody.
I know. My friend was saying the other day, she was like, "Are protests the new club?"
Dude,
And I'm
kinda.
like, honestly,
Club
yes.
with a
Like
purpose.
everyone's checking out everyone. We're all here in this crowd. Like, what's good? We all standing up for the same thing, but like, you know. social distancing
I
is real.
know. I know. That's like a whole. I don't know if you saw that but I interviewed this dating coach about how to navigate any sort of dating at all. It now, anytime from now to like the end of the year, probably, it's just like, it's pretty fucked up. Like, I don't know how that can go, but it's,
Yeah, I
it's,
don't know how it's gonna go either.
uh,
Date yourself, man.
I've
Get
been
to know
dating myself for
yourself.
3 months. I want to date
Be
other
your
people.
own best friend. There's things you haven't discovered. Go into those dark pockets.
I'm working on it, but, all right. Well, I don't want to keep you for too much longer. Your time's about up here.
Yeah.
But thanks for coming on the show. I really appreciate
Yeah,
it.
man. It was nice to talk to you. I hope I see you in person soon. Definitely say hi if we run into each other at a
For sure.
protest or a vigil or something.
Sounds good. I will. Oh, is there season 2 of
Yes, there is. We started shooting.
You did?
Yes, we started shooting. We were like 3 weeks in, and we shut down. We were on episode 2. But things are starting to come back slowly. Obviously, LA has opened up.
Yeah.
But I think it's up to like individual production discretion. What's good? Obviously, morning show's a huge production, so it will take time. But and like I would hope that I would imagine that there needs to be some kind of like skeleton crew, like less people. But like I hate to think that people are going to lose their jobs. But things are coming back, and I'm sure that Apple and all of the producers want to get the ball rolling as soon as that they can, and I certainly do. So
yeah, I gotta see what happens. I gotta see, I mean, the last episode is like, what is gonna happen after that? It reminded me of like the movie Network. Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. That's a good comparison. Yeah, I know I'm in for the ride too. Like I don't know, I don't have anything besides the first 2 episodes to go off of. They only give us 2 episodes at a time, so I'm pretty much in the dark.
Any sweet sauce you can say about the first 2 episodes?
Not really. Definitely don't want to get in trouble for anything, but just keep watching.
All right. Well, thanks much, and I will. I'll say hi if I ever see you. If I ever see your eyes.
Yeah, definitely. Peace out, man.
All right.
Thank you for having me. Bye.
Bye. Thanks for watching that episode of Face to Face Time with Oona. Pretty cool. She's a neighbor, I guess. She lives close. Maybe I'll see her around. That's cool. What else? Just subscribe on all the stuff, man. If you haven't seen Morning Show, by the way, go watch that. Jesus Christ, it's on Apple TV. Get a free account and then delete it like a week later, or however that works. But watch it. That's a good show. It's a good show. It looks good too. If you're into filmmaking or anything, it's a good looking show. Or if you're not into filmmaking, it's a good looking show. What else? Just subscribe all up on me. Subscribe all up on me. On all the stuff that you subscribe up on. Subscribe all up on me, and then come back next week for another sexy episode. I'm sexy. Thanks. Bye. I love you. Bye.